We're looking at Amazon. Now, Amazon is planning or reportedly planning a massive reduction in their non-warehouse staff. And they're targeting as many as 14,000 corporate jobs starting this week itself. This is happening as the e-commerce giant is working to pare their expenses. They're trying to correct what was something that they are talking about as pandemic-era overhiring. My colleague Rishabh has been tracking news on this count in Delhi, and earlier today he sent us this report.
This is still the biggest layoffs that this e-commerce giant has seen since 2022. Remember, the number that was reported earlier by Reuters was roughly 30,000, but now we have an official statement that has come in from Amazon. And what they've said is that they will be cutting down about 14,000 roles. And again, the reasons that they've given is to reduce bureaucracy, reduce the number of layers in decision-making. Essentially, what this company is doing is what a lot of companies are doing, which is to essentially leverage technology, bring in more and more automation, and thereby reduce the roles wherein there's a lot of redundancy built in, and thereby eliminating a bunch of these 14,000 roles globally. What we're also picking up is the fact that these are across teams such as HR, across parts of Amazon Web Services, across various devices teams as well within Amazon. So that is something that we're picking up. What we don't know so far is the India impact that this will have. That is something that is still being figured out. But what we're seeing is that this is a very clear strategy in terms of cutting costs by CEO Andy Jassy. What Amazon is saying that they will still continue to hire about 2.5 lakh more temporary roles, and that is in preparation for the upcoming festive season. So we'll see more and more of these seasonal employment generation by Amazon, but a large chunk of permanent roles, about 14,000 being cut due to technology-led advancements.
So technology-led advancements could largely mean AI. What are the larger takeaways for AI as far as Indian tech force is concerned? Let's find out. Get perspective from Sunil Goel. He's Managing Director at GlobalHunt. It's good to have you with us, Mr. Goel. Do tell us, when you hear news like this, that Amazon is planning to cut up to 30,000 corporate jobs even globally, from your viewpoint as an IT hiring firm, tell us what this signals. As far as India's tech talent market is concerned, what's the biggest signal that's going out over here?
Okay, thank you so much for having me today on the show. So this has largely, if you look at it as a impulsive hiring, what the companies did it in year 21, 22, a lot of hirings with a very premium cost. Second, if you look at technology disruption, which has happened through AI. And third, when, most of the global markets are not growing as it was expected, right? This is all three put together. So today, most of the companies, what they are realigning is that they do not want too many people managers. So what they want, either people, those who are core expert on their job, it's a tech, non-tech, any. That's why you see that they're talking about a corporate jobs. When they're talking about a corporate jobs, it means the high packet jobs are going to be realigned or downsized in terms of total number. Cost is a huge pressure for most of these companies in this slow market. But when we look at the whole scenario in India, India still will remain competitive because we are still not as high paid as Americans or Europeans market space in terms of compensation and the salary for the corporate jobs. So India still remains competitive in terms of numbers of resources what they'll hire. And overall, if you look at from the market perspective, I think we need more players to come in the market to compete with each other, hire the people from each other companies, because more the markets gets consolidated for any industry specific, this kind of layoffs are very natural, right? Because companies will optimize their processes. They'll not have a lot of people requirement, and disruptive technologies are making life easier. The job which was done in months with large teams are done within a week with very small teams. So those things are also going to happen in the market. When we look at that global scenario, the other economy other than India and the large economies are not doing much better in terms of its growth and so on. So those are also
but still, Mr. Goel, Amazon is saying they want to reduce bureaucracy, they want to increase automation. So this means some strategy shift has to happen. Does it kind of, in terms of hiring strategies in Indian tech firms, you think there will be a realignment if Amazon, as large as it is going to reduce bureaucracy and talk about increased automation, because of which there are these job cuts?
Yeah, in a corporate world, if you talk about a bureaucracy specific, it becomes more like your people management than the program management, right? So when you have people managing the people, and those folks are mid and seniors, they are expensive compared to the end doers, right? So that's where one of those areas which most of these companies, not only in Amazon, we have a large pool of a customer across India and global markets. We see that they do not looking at to hire or retain a lot of people managers. So they say you have to have been a functional expert in some of the area. You can do the people management 15-20% of your job, but you can't do 80% of your job as a people management, and that's what they call it, a bureaucracy. And automations brings that much easier because you don't have to physically go and monitor people, hour on hour and so on kind of thing. So it's becoming much, much easier for the companies to implement the technology, which is most cost effective, which is more sustainable, which works 24/7.
Yes.
So it's much, much easier for them to, take up a cost of the technology than the people. So they'll automate the whole process. They like to have a functional experts. They'll continue to hire, but they'll hire more specialists than somebody just coming and saying they're just like kind of a floor manager or people manager.
So the bureaucracy part goes down. I understand that. Now, how should Indian tech professionals, considering this is the landscape, how should they adjust their skill set if these global tech firms are going to lean more on automation and less on large workforce numbers? What is that message you'd give out to a young tech professional in India who's worried about job security in this kind of environment?
Yeah, so Indian tech market also has been largely driven by the tech services and tech consultings, where you really, really don't do the core engineering platform job. We do it some bit of it, but it's not really core product engineering, innovations, and development. My suggestions is that we should come out of this service mindset that okay, low-end job either in technology or non-technology, and of the areas we're going to go and do it and sustain our job. We should become more innovative in terms of getting into deep, identifying more. If you're a tech person, get into the engineering. If you're other function people, try and bring roles which are more valuable to the global platform than just doing it, which can be done by anybody else.
Yes.
So for the professional, it's more important that you build your capabilities, you go and learn the new technologies which are coming, build up your get some certifications done, and invest on the innovations and try to learn more of an engineering, more of a core R&D, more of a development and innovations. That is what going to go and give the value to the individual and the organization and the country. So as long as we avoid doing very basics and services mindset until we come out, these things will impact. Some automation, some disruptive technologies will come and wipe out the large number of jobs. So it's important
that's indeed, that's exactly what we see happening right now. Sunil Goel, thank you very much. This is very useful. Managing Director at GlobalHunt. Thanks very much for joining us with that perspective on the Amazon layoffs.